Okay, now let's go on to just factoring trinomials. So factoring trinomials. So for example, if we have x squared plus 6x plus 8, the first thing you want to ask yourself is you look at the last term and you say, what factors when added together, because that's addition, what factors of 8 when added together give me 6? Okay, so what factors of 8 when added together give me 6? Well, I know in my head 4 times 2 gives me 8, and 4 plus 2 gives me 6. So those are the two numbers I'm looking for. So in my binomials, I know that these two numbers are going to be 4 and 2, and obviously the square root of x is still just x. So now I just got to figure out what operation goes in there. Is it addition or subtraction? So you look at the last term, and again, this right here, if this is positive, you know that you either have to have positive in the binomial because the last number has to be positive, or negative within the binomials, because a negative times a negative will also give you a positive. So to choose which combination you want, you look at the middle term. And in this term, it is a positive. So we know we're going to use both positive. Okay, let's do another one. Y squared minus 9y plus 14. So the first question you want to ask yourself is you look at this last number, and then you look at this, and then you say, what two factors of 14 when added together give you 9? So you think about your factors of 14, and you come up with 7 times 2 is 14, and 7 plus 2 is equal to 14. So that answers the question, what two factors of 14 when added together give you 9? So then we have our binomials, so we know 7 goes here, 2 goes here. It doesn't matter what order. The square root of y squared is y and y. Again, now we got to choose what operations go in there. So we look at the last operation. So we know our combination's either going to be positive or negative. So then we look at the middle term. The middle term here is negative. So inside is going to be 2 negatives. That is the combination that we will choose. Okay, I hope you're getting good at factoring. Let's do another one. And this is how to factor when the leading coefficient is 1. So x squared minus 3x minus 40. So you look at the back term and you say, what factors of 40 when subtracted, see that's not addition anymore, when subtracted give me 3. Okay, when subtracted give me 3, that middle coefficient. So what factors of 40 when subtracted give me 3? Well, if you know your factors of 40, you know that 8 times 5 is 40, and 8 minus 5 gives you 3. So these are the two numbers that I'm looking for. So again, we have our binomials, and we have square root of x is x, square root of x is x. We know that 1 is going to be 8. We know that 1 is going to be 5. Now we just need to know the operations. So you look here, if the back term has a subtraction in it, we know the combination has to be, 1 has to be subtraction, 1 has to be positive. Okay, so if that is a minus sign, this is the only combination you can have. But then to choose which one it goes in, what you do is you look at the term and you say, well, the middle term is subtraction sign, so my highest number has to have the subtraction sign. So out of 8 and 5, my highest number is 8. So the subtraction sign has to go there because it has to match the middle term. The highest number has to match the middle term. Okay, let's do another one. A squared plus a minus 56. So again, you ask that self your question. You say, what factors of 56 when subtracted give me 1, because here the coefficient is 1. Okay, it's understood. So you think to yourself, what two factors of 56 when subtracted give you 1? And 8 times 7 is 56. And then 8 minus 7 is 56. 8 minus 7 is 56. So those are the two numbers. Square root of a squared is a. I know I'm going to use 8 and 7. Now I look at the back. So I know my combination, since that's subtraction, I know the only combination I can have in the binomials is one has to be addition, one has to be subtraction. I look at my middle term and it's addition, so the highest number has to take that addition. So the addition goes there because 8 is higher than 7, and then right there. And there you have it, folks, factoring. Now the tricky thing is when you get a trinomial with a leading coefficient that is not 1. I've actually taught this before in a live, and it's called chunking. So I'm going to tell you a cool trick. So what you do is you take the leading coefficient of 3 and you multiply it by the last term. So 3 times 8 is 24. And so you just drop that leading coefficient. And now you have minus 24 because we multiplied it. You've got to remember that you multiplied by 3. So somewhere in this process, you're going to have to undo that. And the inverse operation is divided by 3. Okay, so somewhere in this thing, we're going to have to eventually divide by 3 to go back to the original problem because we multiplied by 3. So we have this, but now we have a trinomial that we're used to that I just factored. What factors of 24 when subtracted give me 10? Well, if you know your factors of 24, 12 times 2 is 24, and 12 minus 2 gives you 10. So these are the two numbers, 12 and 2. So I'm going to factor it just like normal. Square root of x is x. I put my 12 in 2. We know the combination is going to have to be addition and then subtraction because that's subtraction. So we look at the middle term to see which one has addition. So the one that has addition is the highest number since the middle term is addition. So we do that. So I factored it. I factored this trinomial. But remember, we owe ourselves a divide by 3. So what you do is you divide this term by 3, each term in the binomial, each number in the binomial. If it simplifies, you simplify it, just like this one. 12 divided by 3 simplifies to a whole number, so it's just 4. If it doesn't simplify, like 2 divided by 3 would give you a decimal. So if it doesn't simplify to a whole number, all you do is bring this number to the front of the x, and it becomes the coefficient of the x, 3x minus 2. And this, folks, is our final answer to factor that. So that's a little thing called chunking. We'll do another one. I'll take you through the steps one more time. 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. So again, we're going to, since it's not a leading coefficient of 1, we're going to take this leading coefficient and we're going to multiply it by the last term. I'm going to put right here that I multiplied. So 2 times 6 is 12. You drop that leading coefficient just for now, and then you change that last term to whatever it is when you multiplied. Now I have a trinomial with a leading coefficient of 1. It's easy to factor. What factors of 12 when added together give me 7? What factors of 12 when added together give me 7? We know, so that's going to be 4 times 3 is 12, and then 4 plus 3 is 12. So those are my numbers, 4 and 3. Square root of x is x, square root of x is x. We look at this last term, so we know it's positive, so our combination is either going to be positive, positive, or subtraction, subtraction. Sorry, not positive, positive, addition, addition, or subtraction, subtraction. And we look at the middle term. The middle term has an addition sign, so we're going to go with the addition signs here. And we have factored this, but remember, we owe ourselves a divide by 2 because we multiplied by 2 at the very beginning. So you divide each whole number by 2. If it divides out evenly to a whole number, then you just divide it out. Like 4 divided by 2 will divide out evenly with a 2. But this one, 3 divided by 2 would give you a decimal. So you take that 2, you bring it to the coefficient of the x, 2x plus 3. And here you have this factor, 2x squared plus 7x plus 6 gives you x plus 2 times 2x plus 3. And that, folks, is how you factor trinomials. So awesome. I'm going to bring you around again. Oh, sorry. I'm going to change.